Russell Westbrook and the Lakers falling to the Mavs 128-110. The former MVP was then left to answer questions from the media. Without LeBron and AD, they didn't play. However, when talking about LA dropping to 11th place in the West, Russ took exception to a question about what the purple and gold needed to change to get back into the play-in picture. Let's take a listen.
What do you think should change?
Winning. Be something.
Okay, that's obvious. And what do you think should change?
Winning. Winning games, playing hard. You ask a question, I give you an answer.
That's fine. You got the answer to winning?
Aye.
You have the answer to winning?
I'm not out there playing. Maybe I think you give me the answer what you think should be.
Exactly.
So well,
I don't have the answer.
You know,
exactly.
If you don't have it, you out there, I can't have it either.
You ask me to have an answer. You don't have it either.
Well, but I don't play, Russell. I want to get the information from you so that I can give it to
I'm one person, Shannon.
Right.
It's a team game.
Right.
So I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I may have it.
I don't have it.
It's all good.
But I'm asking the pros who know the game, play the game, what you think you can do to make it your part, their part, everybody's part.
Sure.
That's what I'm asking.
No, I really am. I respect that.
Okay.
You got that? Y'all got that?
No.
You got it?
No, respect. We good.
It's good. It's good. Y'all got that? All right, cool. Y'all got it. Make sure to record that.
Getting hot in there, huh? Shannon, what's your reaction to all of this?
I'm not surprised by this, Skip. This is a young man that's very frustrated with how the season has gone, how he's played this season, and Russ felt he was getting singled out. For the simple fact, AD is not there, LeBron is not there, the questioning is going to go towards him. Okay, how do you turn this around? What he should have said is that, look, we need to start playing better defense. Again, we gave up 82 points in a half. We gave up 43 points in the first quarter. Let's start with that end. That's all you have to do. Skip, what do you think we should do? That guy's a reporter. He's asking you. You're out there. You're playing the game. Skip, I get it. And I was not the athlete. I was not the professional that Russ was. But let me tell you this. Skip, they asked me a question.
Wait a second. Yeah, you were.
Skip,
yes, you were.
I'm going to let him have his moment.
No, yes, you were. Go ahead.
But Skip, they asked me, well, Shannon, what you saw, okay. Well, first of all, we turned the ball over too much. How many times you think we're going to win a game we have 4 turnovers? How many times you think we're going to win the game where we give up a guy that rushed for 200 yards and a quarterback throws for 300 yards? We can't win like that. We need to play better. I could have got frustrated. Hell, you watch the game, you tell me what we should do. That's not the reporter's job is to tell you. His job is to ask you. So hopefully you give him information. He can write that down. That way he can disseminate it to his readers. Russell gets very defensive if he thinks you're singling him out. I think he thought that guy was singling him out by asking him, what can they do? What was the first thing he say? I'm one guy. It's a team sport. You see? He felt the guy was just talking about him. Russ, what do you need to do? And he got all defensive. Russ is a very defensive guy.
Is he?
If he thinks you're trying to slight him. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that gentleman was trying to slight Russ. He was just trying to extract information. Russ, what do you guys need? You. I mean, when he says you, he means the team. Win? Well, that's obvious. Okay. Skip, I get it. This has not been the dream that Russ thought it was going to be. I'm coming home. I get an opportunity to play in front of family and friends 41 nights a year. I get to sleep in my own bed a lot of times. Skip, and I get that. He's from LA.
He grew up being the biggest Laker fan.
Loving the Lakers.
Yep.
Missing school because of Shaq and Kobe going to the parades. Mm-hmm. So I get it. And so it hasn't been great for him. It hasn't been great for the Lakers. But Skip, you can't react like this. Russ, you've been at this too long. You're too good of a player. People are not. I don't think reporters are attacking you. You stay off social media. But I just don't get. I would have thought, as long as he's been around the game, he would have handled the situation better than what he handled it last night.
By the way, said reporter was Brad Turner of the Los Angeles Times, who does a very good job of covering the Lakers and wrote a very balanced piece after that little confrontation that appeared in today's LA Times.
Right.
So I give him high marks for how he handled his side of that.
Yes.
I'm not sure I could have restrained myself the way he did.
Or you gonna say you playing like trash? That's why y'all not winning games.
If he had pushed me like that, I would have said that.
I know you would have said that.
Because, Russ, you went 1 of 5 from 3 last night, and you were ranked 148th of 148 three-point shooters in the league. You're making 29% of your threes. From the free throw line, you're now 67.1%, which ranks 107th of 110. You're still leading the league in turnovers by 7. Okay, you make $44 million not to do all that, right? Okay, this is what I believe happened for Russ last night. I think he was pretty proud of himself the way he played because he was 9 of 17. And
he was 6 of 6 for the free throw. 6 of 6.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. He made all 6 of his free throws. And that's what he was proudest of. I only had 2 turnovers tonight, and I scored 25 points. But, Mr. Sharp, if you glance down the second to last column, it's plus minus. What was he for the game? He was
the highest of anybody that touched the court.
The game worst, minus 25. He scored 25 points, and he was a minus 25, by far the worst of any player who played in the game. And to your first point, the 82 they gave up in the first half were the second most allowed in a first half in franchise history, but that was only 1 point fewer than they allowed to the Boston Celtics back in 1959.
Okay, 59.
1959? What? This is ignominious.
Right.
This is all-time embarrassing for this franchise. And by the way, the next stat was that they lost the second half by to New Orleans, and then the first half by at Dallas was the worst points differential, a minus 54 over a 2-half span of the Lakers that they've suffered in the shot clock era. So that second half at New Orleans, the first half last night, were combined the worst.
Yes.
You hit bottom again.
Right.
Just we come out here day after day and say, they can't play any worse. Yeah, they can. Okay.
And they was down, at one point, Skip, they was down 37 in the game. I mean, they lost by 20. What, they like, what that? I mean, 20, what, they lost by, 18, excuse me. He's like, well, that ain't no. Nah, bro, they was down 37. The Mavericks called the dogs off late in the third.
I believe Russ went to the post game. He didn't have to go, obviously. No. If he had missed, nobody would have thought twice about it.
Right.
But there was no LeBron. There's no AD. So he went, and I believe he was hoping somebody said, hey, great game, Russ. How did you rise above no LeBron and no AD to perform at such a high level? Because that's what he wanted to hear. Like, oh, I did it this way, and this is what I do. You know, he'd say, I've been doing this for a long time. And all of his answers always, do you know who you're speaking to? Do you know who I am? Do you know what I've done in this league?
Right.
We know about the triple-doubles, but to your point, you're starting to wonder about the triple-doubles because the stat is starting to lose its impact to you because it does not impact the scoreboard.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
And I've said from the start before they signed him, I said he's nothing but a solo act of a stat machine who prioritizes statting over winning. That's just who he is. And so it was ironic, painfully ironic at the end when he said, I'm just one guy. It's a team game. Well, he's never thought of that before when he was in Oklahoma City or Houston or Washington.
Right.
It's just all about the triple-doubles.
And he's never got this kind of criticism before, even though he's played the exact same way. Why does he get the criticism now? Bro, you're on the Lakers. You were the favorite to win the championship.
Yep.
And so now you're theoretically, you're out of the playoffs unless something miracle happen. You're going to miss the playoff, not just the play-in, you're going to miss the playoffs completely. This is why you're receiving the criticism. If he was doing what he was doing and he's on the Orlando Magic, nobody would say a word.
Nobody.
If he was on OKC doing exactly what he's doing, nobody would say a word. But you're on the Lakers, which is the gold standard.
Yep.
They're really three teams. The Knicks, the Celtics, and the Lakers. You're going to get criticism if you play bad, especially if they're in championship contending. Supposed to be. The Lakers were the favorites, Skip, to win the title this year. And so you don't think with the way you're playing, you're going to receive criticism? You understand criticism comes along with the job, but you're going to get criticized and scrutinized even more the greater the expectations are. That's why people are so upset, Russ. It's not they don't dislike you. It's that the Lakers have such high expectations, and those expectations aren't being met. You're not the only reason the Lakers are having one. There are a lot of reasons, But for you not to acknowledge that you're playing bad and keep trying to blame deflect and keep becoming confrontational, it doesn't make the situation better.
It does not. He routinely goes to the post-game interview room with an attitude that is a mix of surly, defensive, defiant, delusional, and he's just ready for somebody to say the wrong thing to him, and he's ready to lash back. And we've seen it, I don't know how many times. This is just another in a long string of them, right?
Yes.
And yet, I never hear him show any shame. Like, I think of the great Magic Johnson, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you put them in this circumstance, and you could just argue back, well, they would have never been in. Kobe, okay. Put them in this circumstance right here, right now. Hypothetically, they're going to be angry. They're going to show you fury over the shame of this, that they're not going to stand for it, but they would own it. We have to do this. We have to, whatever it is. How do you win, Russ? Well, we got to do this and this, and we can't do that, and we can't do that, and we can't do that.